Some divorces require temporary orders.
Some of them, yes.
So what instances do you suggest for somebody to have temporary orders on their divorce?
Well, it depends the situation. Most of the time, the purpose of temporary orders is to provide some temporary relief while the lawsuit proceeds. Like we talked before, some divorces can take a year, and obviously some people can wait a year to get some, for example, economic help from the other spouse, or to get some peace and tranquility in their lives. So that's when temporary orders come in.
Okay.
For example, couple, they're fighting and they just can't be in the same roof, and there's some domestic violence where somebody has to move out.
Okay.
So we ask the court for temporary orders to get somebody to move out, to pay child support, to pay certain bills. For example, when a spouse is unemployed and can't afford to pay the house bills, well, then we ask for some temporary spousal maintenance for the other spouse to pay the bills while the divorce is, during the process of the divorce. And that's basically one of the main reasons that we ask for temporary orders, is just to split the spouses and to take care of the bills.
Those temporary orders also contain restraining orders, right?
Yeah, the temporary orders usually have what we call temporary restraining order. And the temporary restraining order are basically some injunctions that prohibit the parties to do certain things or during the process of the divorce. But
what things, like, give me an example of those things.
Like, for example, both parties are enjoined from selling property.
Okay.
We don't want you to go and during the process of the divorce to go and start selling stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, we don't want you to do that. The other is, for example, injunctions against harassing the other party or calling them and making threats and stuff like that. We want to preserve the peace and make sure that everybody's calm and everybody's well behaved while we, the lawyers, do the job that we do. There's also temporary injunctions for the children. We want to make sure that you don't grab the kids and then suddenly disappear to Alaska. And then, there's certain things, rules, so the parties can behave during the process of the divorce. So.
Okay. So a lot of people confuse the restraining order with a protective order.
Right.
So can you tell us the difference between a restraining order and a protective order?
Sure. So in the state of Texas, we have restraining order and protective order. In some other states, they have a restraining order, which is the same as what we call a protective order, and that creates a lot of confusion. A lot of people tell me, well, I just got served with a restraining order. I don't know why. I haven't done anything wrong. Well, a restraining order is a tool that the court uses. It's not because you did something wrong. It's just basically a restraining order is something that is used and applies to both parties to prevent certain behavior and to maintain the peace and tranquility during the process of the divorce. A protective order is a whole different thing. A protective order is an order when the court finds that there has been some domestic violence or where one spouse is in danger, they issue a protective order. And that basically what it means is that the person is not allowed to come close to you, or it's a whole different thing, and it's meant to protect one of the spouses from future domestic violence. And violation of that protective order is a criminal offense versus a restraining order is not really a criminal offense. It's more a violation of a court order. And then you can be punished by the judges, by the court for violating those temporary injunctions. But a protective order is meant to provide some protection, but that's what it's called, protective against domestic violence and to keep you away from violent people.
Right. Okay. So you also mentioned on the process of divorce, mediation. What is mediation?
Mediation is a process where you have a neutral person and that person helps you to negotiate solutions to the issues that you have pending in front of the court.